We're back with Harrowings Live. This podcast, Harrowings Podcast, with the everyday junglist who's driving. And he's showing us some
Right.
lovely landscape in Tijuana. You want to introduce yourself here? We got some people joining.
I don't know about to introduce myself, but yeah, hey, wow, hey everybody. Yeah, I am driving. Uh, I just left my neighborhood actually here in Tijuana, Mexico. I'm heading up to the U.S. today. I gotta run some errands, and so I figured we could do the podcast here from the car. I think we did this once before, Hal, maybe, but
At least
can't
once,
remember
yeah, maybe
exactly. At
more.
least once, maybe. I drive up there a lot, at least once a week, if not twice. I have to go to the U.S. for whatever reason, and so and I'm right by the border here at Tijuana, very close, and it takes about well, you'll see. It takes about 45 minutes. Perfect for a show, actually. So it takes about 45 minutes, depending on traffic. But soon it will be much, much faster because there's this new superhighway system, which I think we talked about last time, being built
Did we?
in the area. Superhighway tunnel slash bridge system that's going to really shorten my commute by a ton. And it's really quite nice. And it's actually a little bit depressing because it runs right by next to the border wall.
Yeah.
So you get to see, America's version of stay the fuck out. And then yeah, Mexico, building this really nice superhighway, trying to connect people. And the contrast, it angers me every time I see it. The wall really pisses me off, and in many ways. But not only is it eyesore, but it's completely useless, not needed, and it sends a really terrible message, I think, too. But anyhow, I would say that since I live down here, so I had to. But I think anyone in the area who lives, in Southern California or the northern this part of Mexico, we're so reliant on each other, the U.S. and Mexico, in this part of the country at least, that we have to have that interconnectedness to survive economically. Both,
Yep. He went through that dead zone we were expecting.
yeah,
There's
there'll be a few of
Mexican.
those. There'll be a few of those as we're driving here, especially as I get closer to the border wall. Because once you get near the wall, all kinds of like jamming. There's different things that goes on. I guess I don't know what happens, but you lose cell signal a lot up there.
It's
So
like me
hopefully,
going by
uh,
Langley over at CIA base.
you're right. Yeah, they have all this weird stuff. Yeah, weird signal jamming and different things that happen. So anyhow, but
Well,
but
we've
it's cool.
got
I mean, you can't. I don't know if you can see the ocean's right to my left. I don't know if you can see it in the view. Probably maybe not in the view from the camera. But
not right
to the
now, but it
left
will be.
is the Pacific. Yeah, it's just right there. It's really quite nice day. It's a little bit cool today, actually 54, which is very cool for here. But
Wow.
anyhow, sun's out. Oh,
Well,
so
he's going to stop and get some gas soon, by the way, folks. I wanted to say
yes,
who's here. Liza Nanette Allinger has joined. The Bale of Mirror has joined. Elizabeth Warren is with us. I don't know if that's the Elizabeth Warren or not.
well, that'd
A.A.
be neat, wouldn't
Williams?
it?
Huh?
Who is Elizabeth Warren? She was a
Elizabeth
politician
Warren
of
is
some
a
sort, right? Elizabeth
senator.
Warren.
You know,
That's
she
right.
ran for
That's right.
president, all that jazz.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be neat. Well, hey, thanks for
Hey,
joining, everybody.
Elizabeth Warren. A.A. Raymond has joined. Wade Houston and Terod Nage has joined.
Yeah, I don't.
So
Well, welcome
welcome,
everybody. I'm
y'all.
not sure who they
Ask
are.
questions if you have them. Don't be
Yeah, please.
shy. Let us know how you are and where you are. He's in
Yeah,
Tijuana, though. This is my friend Dan, everyday junglist. You're Dan, right?
that's right, Dan. Yeah, I go by Dan or Daniel,
And
either one.
Luna, the German Shepherd, is with him.
That's right. She's been in the back here. We're heading up to the U.S. today. I'm going to play some frisbee with her. And I'm going to pick up my mail. We don't have mail service, at least not reliable mail service in this part of Mexico, so I have to get my mail sent to the U.S. So that's one of the reasons that I go to the U.S. fairly regularly to pick up our mail, which is sort of irritating, but it's weird because the mainland Mexico, Baja Peninsula, where we are, I liken it to like the Mississippi of Mexico, in that the central government gives it no resources, or it gets the short end of the stick on about everything when it comes to resources. So
Yeah.
they don't have very good mail service here really at all. And so I have to get the mail in the US. So, and I have, it's living as an expat is a pain in the ass. I don't recommend it for most people because I mean, it's very difficult logistically to keep track. I have like four different addresses to get a car, license plate or registration. I mean, it's such a nightmare. It's a bureaucratic nightmare. And you got to deal with it on both ends, both the US side and the foreign country side. And it's painful. It takes patience and fortitude. Let's call it that. But for me, I mean, the payoff is huge in the sense that you get to live for me, a gorgeous place, and I really love it here. So whatever,
It
I
is
won't be leaving
pretty.
anytime soon. It's very
I
pretty.
love how the road is carved through those hills.
Yeah, yeah,
And you see a
yeah.
little
It's
of
very
the
nice.
stratification of the earth there.
You can for sure. And you have these weird houses. You see those little houses like that up there. You're just like, who owns that? Who lives there? Because in Mexico, property is it's kind of weird. The land titling and stuff. The system's not as sophisticated as in the U.S. as far as who owns the land and how the land's titled and how those records have been kept through the years. and then they have this part where there's there's indigenous populations, at least in the mainland, that have own different parts of the land, and then near the border it gets even more complicated because there's national security implications to it. So you can't, as a foreign resident, you cannot own land in Mexico officially within, I think, 60 miles of the border, something like that. I don't know what the number is exactly. So if you want to actually buy a house here and you're not a Mexican citizen, you have to go through what's called a trust, which is basically a bank or a different institution, and you need a Mexican citizen to sponsor you, basically, to do that. So my wife and I are trying to buy our home. The way we're doing that is she's going to get her citizenship. So we're both permanent residents, and she's studying for her citizenship exam. So at some point we can actually buy the home outright and not have to do this trust thing.
Oh, right.
So the downside with the trust thing is that officially the Mexican government owns your home, even though on paper you own it. Officially, the government could at any time come in and say, "Sorry, we need this land, where we need your house, and buy," and you would have no recourse at that point. So,
Wow. That's
but
intense.
but and still many people buy houses down here that are not citizens, and they work through this trust because they believe, they trust in the process, and they believe in, the sanity of the governments of the world, which these days maybe is not the best belief to have, given what you see what is happening in the U.S. and one wrong move by somebody, one stupid move by somebody, and everything blows up, and then the place becomes a disaster. I mean, a complete nightmare for everybody, and myself included. I mean, I would not want to be down here. I can't imagine what would happen or what will happen if Scheinbaum, say, is abducted by the U.S., like was what happened with the president of Venezuela. So,
Oh, your
and here's
president,
this,
you mean?
Americans are not looked at. There's some anti-Americanism here, already, yeah, mostly because of actions of the politicians of the U.S.
Hmm.
But it would, intensify greatly if something like that happened, and there could even be violence. I don't know. There could be arrests. I really have no idea, no way to predict what might happen. So, and I don't want to even think about it because it would be whatever ever it would be, it would not be good, and it would be highly stressful and potentially, very dangerous. So that situation, I'm hoping is not real. Although, but you hear talk like that, and it's talk, but at the same time, I have to take it seriously because it involves my life, big time. So, I've got these like contingency plans in my head. Well, what if Steinbaum gets abducted? Should I get in the car and run for the border as fast as I can, before they close the border? Because they could do that, and in fact, they probably would, is my guess. But again, I don't know. And I was looking at the history of this in countries where things like this have happened. If you are a temporary resident, typically you are expelled from the country immediately.
Wow.
So, fortunately, we just got our permanent residency. Most times, permanent residents have been given basically amnesty. They've been given the choice to stay or leave, and that's been mostly peaceful from what I've seen historically. Now, whether that would be the case, and every situation is obviously a little bit different. I can't say that would be the case here, and I don't want to think about it, but I have to kind of because we want to be prepared just in case. And I think what the conclusion we've come to is if something like that were to happen, we would stay put and
No.
basically let events unfold because try to make a run for the border is just too risky for just too many reasons. Because especially right after something happens, when everybody's tense and no one really knows what's going to happen, it gets. Anyways, this is the things I'm thinking about now, in addition to all the other crap going on in my life. So
Well, you're
it's like
actually in,
all
you're part of
I
the
need.
C-suite of a new startup too. So you're
That's
off
right.
today.
Yes, you're
They,
right. Which is a ton of work to do. A ton of work, and it's highly stressful too. And we're scrambling for money, and it's a different world. The startup world is a hard world to be in. It's new for me because I've always been in the big company, you know, the big behemoth, which has all the money and all the resources and can do whatever it wants. And we look at these little guys and we laugh at them. So now I'm the little guy getting getting laughed at. But it's fun too because you have a lot more freedom and a lot more flexibility to try new things and you get to see the company being built from the ground up. So the values and things that you want a company to have, you can have a direct say in that. And all the
that's
things you hate
nice.
about the places that you worked, you can say, "Hey, I don't want it to be that way at this place." Now, of course, you say that, and then 10 years down the line, it won't stick around. But it is cool to have that input at the beginning, and
Yep.
whether it succeeds or not, that's another question. But it's kind of neat,
Yeah, we were
kind of
talking
fun.
about how Google originally had that motto, "Don't be evil." So hopefully you're not
Yeah,
being evil.
we're not. We definitely are not. I think we have a really good mission. I mean, we're trying to help people. Obviously, the technology is based on helping people. Health,
And
making
you
people
are the chief
not
tech
sick.
or chief Chief what
Chief
officer?
Scientific Officer,
Chief
CSO, Chief
scientist.
Scientific Officer.
Yep.
Yeah, so
So Dan
CSO.
is a molecular biologist. Did I get that right?
Right, microbiologist slash molecular biologist. I kind of do both. I would say I'm more of a microbiologist, but I do quite a bit of molecular biology as well. So these days, almost everyone does. All biologists in that area kind of
Now, some
cross
of my more
those lines.
fascinating guests and everyday junglist, by the way, because of jungle music, bass and drums music, right?
That's correct. Yeah, it's my favorite genre of music is drum and
Yeah.
bass music, or jungle is what it was originally called back in the early '90s, late '80s, early '90s when it first came on the scene.
So it's only been
But yes,
10 minutes. I've now got you completely introduced.
there you go. Good job. That's how it takes with me typically. I've been speaking for the entire 10 minutes nonstop, basically, without taking a breath, which is pretty typical.
Really typical. Yeah, it was great. I love it. Um, I
I always
don't
start
need to
out
work
fast,
too hard.
and I continue fast too. Typically, I've said this before, but if I had a nickel for every time somebody told me to slow down, I would be man long since retired.
Well, I think that's about
But
intelligence. A lot of us intelligent people are really rapid speakers. I'm not that intelligent, so I
yeah,
talk slower.
right. I don't know if it's that so much. I mean, that's part of it. I think. Yeah, I actually don't. I haven't thought about it a whole lot. I mean, constantly getting called out on it, but especially for people who don't, for English is not their first language, which I now am much more sympathetic to,
Yeah.
living in Mexico, and
Oh my
Spanish not being my
God.
first language.
I
So
had
I get very
dated a
sympathetic.
Danish girl, right? I dated a Danish girl, and she constantly was telling me to slow down. I wasn't being fair because she has to actually process what I was saying through
Yeah, yeah.
Danish to English and back again to English
Oh,
from her
it's
Danish
so hard.
interpretation. And
Oh, it's really hard.
yeah, and that didn't last long.
It's people that speak Spanish speak fast typically, anyways. But some people, I mean, it is just complete gibberish. I have no clue what they're saying. And usually they can tell though. They can see by the look in my eyes that I have no idea what they're saying. It's kind of weird that people know.
Yeah, that's a
People also
tricky
usually
thing.
know.
I
People
actually,
always for some reason people know I'm American almost immediately down here, and
hmm.
I don't know why. I don't feel like I look particularly American, but maybe I do. But I don't know. Maybe it's because of where we live and they're used to seeing it or something. But
Do you have a full service gas station there, or are you just waiting for the
they're all
point?
full service. They're all full service.
Wow,
All gas stations in Mexico are full service actually.
I've never
Yeah, so
seen
they
that
don't.
in so long.
It's been. You don't go to New Jersey ever? New Jersey also still has full service gas stations. I think they still do.
Really?
But yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Well, I guess I don't go to Jersey. I go up to Philly sometimes, but I don't cross over to
yeah,
Jersey.
yeah, only Jersey, and I'm not sure if they still have it, but until 2000, at least 10, they still had it full service. But anyway, they're all full service in Mexico. Partly it's a jobs program, I think, and I
You
kind of
were in
like it. You can
Jersey,
see those.
right?
I lived in Delaware, so I was
Oh,
close. You
Delaware.
know,
Okay. I
that's yeah,
wasn't sure. I
you
knew
know,
you were over there somewhere when you had that
yeah,
event.
yes, and that's where I was working for DuPont. They're in Wilmington, Delaware. There,
And that was when you
they
almost
were.
died, right?
Yes, 2015 or
Yeah.
dead, depending on who you ask.
So there must be a purpose in you being here. Do you feel like there's a purpose in you being in the world these days?
Is there a yeah, I suppose. I mean,
Got a
the purpose is,
mission.
I guess, I do. I have a mission. I mean, I guess I try not to think about it too much because I think about things too much already, and I overthink everything. So, I mean,
Well, you've
I'm really,
also written quite a bit lately. I've noticed you're putting up a lot of posts.
yeah. The past week or so, I've been posting a lot. I go through spurts where I will post a lot, and then not so much. And sorry, I'm just gonna deal with the
Yeah, go
gas guy
ahead.
here, but
While you're doing that, I'll just say intelligent nonsense is the um, substack that Everyday Junglist has out there for us. And his everyday nonsense is usually kind of tongue in cheek in a way that people might miss if you're not careful, which has caused issues in the past. We've
slight
talked about
issues.
that
It's
in the
just only a
past,
few, only
like being
only a few.
doxxed. Right?
Yes, and being banned from Medium for life is the other problem it caused me.
And this to me is like a big medal of honor to be banned
Yeah.
from the platform for life for
Yes.
basically people not understanding your sense of humor.
Basically, yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. That's a good way to
And
put it.
I have a similar problem that people do not understand me at all. And when they do understand me, they're appalled.
Right. Sometimes that doesn't help.
I'm making that up. That's
But Yeah.
What do you call me? You call me like the nicest person on.
The nicest guy on Substack. That's Hal Gill. Still believe that to be the case. You're a really
Ta-da.
nice guy. He's the only guy that every time I write something, before I even post it, there's got a heart. And I always know it's coming from Hal because you must be on the platform 24/7 because you are
I'm
constantly
not.
hearting things I publish, which before I even publish them, like you read my mind.
I'm not. I rotate around in
I see.
cyberspace, and because I
I
like
see.
amplifying signals through cyberspace, because I'm trying to confuse our overlords.
Yes.
You know,
Al 30 litros, regular. Al 30 litros, regular. 30 litros. Sí. Gracias.
getting some gas in
Sorry.
Spanish, no less.
Yes. Yeah, my terrible. Yeah, you guys, my terrible Spanish there. Sorry about that. Yeah, liters is another thing. So it's liters here instead of gallons, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little bit of a conversion. Doing a conversion. I know it now, like how much each of my cars tanks as far as liters versus gallons, to fill the tank, and it's because it's full serve. So you have to know in advance how much you want to get. Because I don't know how to say you just fill it up. Actually, still after all these years, so
Yeah.
I always say a number. I know that 30 liters basically fills this car almost. Actually, it's more like 40, but so I went a little bit less. But anyhow, it's one of those
Yeah.
things. But the first like month I lived here, I was nervous every time I went to the gas stations. I wasn't sure what to say or how to how to get gas. Those basic things like you're like, what am I supposed to do here? And when you can't speak the language, it's hard, and it gets I don't know, it gets to be intimidating, very intimidating. And people are generally nice, especially here. People are very very nice because a lot of people, most people here actually speak English to some extent, and they know if you can't speak Spanish, and they're generally pretty sympathetic. But
Clean your windshield.
they do, yeah. That's all
Okay.
full service.
Yeah,
He's shocked.
I
It's
am.
standard practice at full service gas stations. They'll
I
also
know.
check
I
your oil if you
remember
ask.
it from
You have to ask.
1975.
All right. You have to ask. You have to ask, but they will check your oil and your air pressure in your tires and fill them if you want. Very nice. I don't know how to say those things, any of those things in Spanish, so I've not yet taken advantage of that.
Mm, it's very interesting. I've been writing into the chat that we will take questions from people, and that you're heading
Yeah,
across the
please.
border from Tijuana to the U.S. People aren't reading the chat. They're still watching. You can't tell if they're really watching or not. They might have flipped to something else because we're boring. Did you see the other day I got called boring? I was doing my
I
passing
didn't.
show thing, and I was crossing I was walking from
I
Van
saw your.
Ness down to home on Connecticut Avenue,
Yeah.
and this guy came in and said, "This is boring. I hate this app." I was like, "Look," and poof.
I saw your text. I saw some text about that you said. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun. I don't know, man. I just don't think we have
Oh
fun,
yeah.
but I did feel bad sometimes because I figure, well, that might be somebody someday who might say something that's really gonna change my life, but the
You
chances
never
are
know.
no.
Yeah, the feds are pretty high. Probably not. Probably not. Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
think we ought to be.
There are some jerks occasionally. Just want to say some shit like that. Sense.
Wow, that was jumbly.
For some reason, my headset is going in and out here because I just restarted the car. So
Ah,
sec.
there you go. It's no big deal. I can fill up the space with my slow talking. I like to watch the
Oh,
passing
yeah,
show.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry,
There you go.
I had to turn the car off to get the gas, and then I turned the car back on. Of course, Bluetooth. There we go. I think I'm okay now.
You're
You
okay
there?
now. Yeah.
All
Bright
right. Yeah. Sorry about
sunlight
that.
coming in
Sorry about that.
on the lens. It's fine. The
It's good.
sun's fine. It's not
Yeah,
hurting me.
traffic's going to be busy because it's Friday morning. So a lot of people go to the border on Fridays, cross the border Friday morning. So it could be actually, hopefully, it's not a huge long line, but it could be actually, and it probably will be actually based on the time. I left a little bit later than I wanted to.
Yeah.
You can see this bridge. I don't know if you can see it. You see this construction, all these people up on that bridge in front of me. I don't know if maybe the sun's too bright, but this is the new highway I was talking about. This new superhighway
Okay.
system they're building here. I don't know if you
All
can see it
right.
yet. Maybe as we get a little bit closer.
Yeah, you're getting
The
there.
sun is awfully bright.
And
But there's probably 100 people over that bridge right now working, and they've been working on this for a year and a half now. It's almost done.
well, great.
Almost done. But
That's actually pretty quick.
there's a yeah, very quick. The amount of people they put on this project and the amount of money they spent has been absolutely incredible. As I said last time, I think it's partly I think there's a lot of reasons for it. I mean, it's a really good thing infrastructure wise for the region. I mean, it's going to be huge economically for everybody. For me, it's going to be a great convenience. But there's a signal sending to, as you'll see, it runs right along the border wall, directly parallel to it for a long distance, and it's about 10 feet higher than the border wall too. So it's like you could you could easily jump off of the highway across the border, right? So there's sort of a point. I think, in my opinion, there's a little bit of they're sending a little bit of a message that, hey, you build a wall, we'll build a highway, that's 10 feet higher than the stupid wall. And you don't see people jumping off the highway across the wall. You won't see that. Just like you don't see people climbing over the bridge, climbing over the wall to get to the U.S. because it's not like that. That's not how people, go to the U.S. and want to get there, quote, illegally. They don't climb the stupid border wall, and the wall's not going to stop them or slow them down. And not having one does nothing, or having one does absolutely nothing. So it's a completely useless signal that basically just says "f you," and it's a big "we hate you, stay out" kind of message, which is not a great message to be sending, in my opinion. But the alternative message is a more hopeful message, which is a road, a superhighway, which is connecting people and improving the economic conditions of the area. And I don't know. To me, it's sad that I'm definitely on Mexico's side here in this one, where what they're doing, in my opinion, looks to be the more effective approach from a political
Pretty
perspective
impressive.
and from a world perspective. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
and
like
it's
the
really
engineering.
the engineers really they've been done a great job on this. And the other thing I noticed, the people working on this thing, they're all smiling. There's a lot of Mexican flags out. There's a lot of everybody seems happy. Whereas opposed to your typical road crew in the U.S., they don't necessarily look as happy as these. And you have people coming out and cooking for them. Like you have like there's a community spirit, I guess, to it, if you want to call it, that I find
Right.
appealing, which I don't necessarily see in lots of places. And this project has generated a lot of that, which I think is pretty cool to see.
That is it.
And
It's
there's
inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, and I don't know, it's been neat. And for me, again, it's a selfish reason. It's really going to be great for me because it's going to make this drive that we're doing right now about half as long, or even less than that. It's going to make it way faster, which is great.
Hmm. All right.
And now you can see the wall to your left. That's the border wall, that rusty brown thing. Just to your left there is the infamous border wall.
Huh.
And as we come up over the hill here, you'll see that the highway, the new highway, how it is actually structured and it runs parallel directly to the wall here. Just in a moment here. And every time I drive through this section, it depresses me. And I mean, again, it's the whole signal thing of here's the wall, here's a road, and which side am I on? And then as a person that straddles both, because I'm a U.S. citizen, but I live here, and I want both countries to succeed, and I want both to be happy, and I want everything to work out for everybody, of course. And if it doesn't, there's major implications for me. And here's a good example right here. So you see this big highway in front of us, the Mexican, and on the left side you see that tiny little wall, that little stupid wall, which runs for hundreds of miles.
Well, thousands. It's
However
supposed
far
to
the
be
stupid wall
thousands.
goes. Right.
I
But
don't
as
know
you can
how
see, the highway,
completed. Go ahead.
the highway is clearly 10, 20 feet above it. There's a second wall. I mean, I'm overstating the simplicity of it, but as you get up here, you can see it. You could jump off of this highway across the wall if you wanted to. Now you'd probably kill yourself, and you obviously would get arrested and shot and all the other stuff. No one would ever do that. But I think it's a point setting, and from a military perspective, this is a highly defensible position, this highway here above me, from the U.S. Not that the U.S. would ever invade, by land directly. It would be the stupidest thing ever. But this is a position you could put tanks on, you could put artillery on, all those things you would do in a military conflict. This bridge would, and this bridge has been funded by this highway project by the Mexican Defense Department, at least partly, if not totally. So, and that's actually why it's moved so fast,
But
because originally this project. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go
they
ahead.
also paid for the wall, right?
They pay well, yeah, I guess, yeah, maybe they did. I don't know. Our defense
That was the
department, I don't know.
legend. The legend
Yeah,
was we're going to
yeah,
build a wall and make
yeah.
Mexico pay
I,
for it. It's kind of like those.
yeah,
You
that's
ever
right.
hear
They
of
did pay for it.
you've heard of the Wall of Sound, right? That the Grateful Dead used to use.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah.
meme out there somewhere of Jerry standing in front of the Wall of Sound saying, "We're going to build a wall and make hot tuna pay for it." I don't know if you know hot tuna, but that was another
I don't know
band.
hot tuna. I've heard of hot tuna, I think, but yeah, I think I
They
get
were
that.
good, man. And
Yeah,
still are actually. It's just Yorma and Jack Cassidy
and the other one is
with
jam
two
bands like
acoustic
Fish,
stuff.
they're like Fish or the Dead, one of these jam bands that tours everywhere and
Yeah,
that kind of
they're
thing.
acoustic now only though. They did their last electric show. There's electric hot tuna, and then there's um the acoustic hot tuna. But they were the Jefferson Airplanes lead guitarist and bassist. That's all it
I
was.
see.
and they just like to play more than the rest of the band, I think.
Wow,
And
that's pretty
Jorma
funny.
just turned 85. He just had his birthday
85.
in December,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I saw him play at the
Nice.
Warner Theater shortly before his
So
birthday.
he's
And
still touring. I was gonna say, so he's still touring at 80 in the 80 in the or 80s.
85 years old, still going out there and doing what he likes
Wow.
to do with the
Are you
people he
still doing
likes
your?
to do it with.
Are you still
You know?
touring with your Fife? Are you still in that Fife tour group that
Well,
you're in?
man, I still play with the alumni. December 7th, I marched with the Fife and Drum in Williamsburg. We led the Williamsburg
Nice.
Community Christmas Parade, which was very nice.
Awesome.
You can catch it
That's cool.
online. I'll send you a video.
Wait, you can catch it online. Seriously, it's online. They filmed it, huh? They filmed
Oh, of
the
course,
Fife.
we have a huge fan base.
Really? No, you
Yeah,
don't. Shut up.
because
Seriously?
what's not to
Oh,
love about
like
Fife and Drum?
right.
Except if you like your hearing. If you like your hearing, it's not so great.
The hardcore Fifers out there, all the Fife addicts or the Fife.
Yeah, man.
Nice. I like it.
And what a simple instrument, right? You got six
Yeah.
finger holes, a mouth hole, and a wooden tube
Uh-huh.
supported by ferrules on the end. It's
Right.
just lovely. It's just a very efficient little thing and very
Yes, for
primitive.
making noise.
Probably the earliest instruments to produce music were flutes of some form made out of bone or whatever they had.
I would argue with drums probably because it's easier to bang on something, I think,
Well, they
than
bang
to
on things for sure, but I don't know.
like
I
an
think the
instrument.
rhythm
Yeah.
and things like that, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
flutes are musical. I'm talking about music, not talking about rhythm.
I see. I see. And not being a musician, I don't get those details.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, so we
Yeah.
managed to divert from the wall to the wall of sound to
Yes. Yes. And
to
now
this.
we're actually well, I'm in downtown Tijuana basically right now. I don't know, just to give you a little bit of sense of the how nice, not nice it is. It's actually not a bad. It gets a bad rap. I think, well, I don't say what I think, but Mexico, I think Mexico partly tries right when it's weird. As you immediately cross the border into Mexico, it's so shitty. Like it looks like it's like a rundown hovel. Like it looks like absolute crap. And you'd be like, why would anybody want to live here? But literally, if you just go like another mile, I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. Like just where I am.
Right,
And
right.
so my theory is that they keep it that way. That shitty, like right when you cross, the people are like, I'm never going to come back here. Right? They keep the crowds down. That's my theory. Because it looks like crap right when you cross the border. And like, is this area here right around the border? It just looks really awful. But Mexico in general is not at all like this. And especially where I live here, which is only like 2 miles from here, it is really nice. And this is not representative of what the country looks like or really what even right this area looks like. And
Well, a
this is
lot of
what people
people do
see.
like to move to Mexico or Costa Rica further down, and they retire
Yeah.
because the cost of living is so much lower. That's why you're there,
Yeah.
right? Cost of living?
No, no, well, not exactly. We're here because we had no other. Yeah, well, basically, we had no other choice. My wife got a job in San Diego, and we could not find a house that we could afford there or a place to live. Even at then, the real estate market was so out of control at that time. We
Listen,
had a very short timeline, and so we had a real estate agent who basically said, "Hey, I have have you thought about Mexico?" And we had no. We're like, "What? No, we hadn't thought about it." And my wife went down and looked at a couple of places. She said, "You won't believe the places I'm seeing and what the prices are." And I was like, okay, I don't care. Just, get one. And so he picked one out and we rented it. And I didn't even see it until I moved down here. I was like, oh my God. It was on the ocean. I had an ocean view, and the rent was, just incredibly low for the cheap, the amount of square footage and everything else. It completely blew my mind. I was not expecting it. And, I had these impressions of Mexico from everything I'd heard. I was, Midwest kid. I mean, lived around, but you hear all this crap about how horrible it is. So was prepared for the worst. But it was not the worst. It was far from the worst, actually. It was quite nice.
yeah, I was getting a
But
lot of comments back and forth when I was talking with Origin earlier, and we're not getting hardly anybody. I think you've got us dumbfounded.
sorry. Yeah, it happens. That happens a lot when I'm talking. People don't
When you're
understand what I'm saying
talking
most
and
of the
people
time.
don't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
anything to
yeah.
say at all.
Either they tune out or they don't understand what I'm saying. And I sort of take it as a badge of honor. I think if people could understand me, I would feel
Well,
like I'm not doing my job.
right. Well, I think the fact of your sense of humor, people not getting that is kind of like telling. By the way, how many subscribers are you up to on Substack now? Do you know?
149, 148 as of this morning. So yeah, I'm
48.
tearing it up. I'm tearing it up as usual. I've been writing for 7 years now. I've been writing and publishing online, almost, I guess, almost eight. Not quite that long. and I never was very successful on Medium at all either. I don't know how many,
Are you
hardly any. I
interested
never.
in doing any of this? Getting some? Because I ran into some people who are really gung ho about publishing stuff in book form.
Yeah.
Are you interested in getting it connected to those folks?
I mean,
You know?
well, I mean, I am looking at. I do have some books in progress and things I've been working on. I
Mhm.
would like to turn into books. I was
Right.
going to only to self-publish them was my plan. Just like the Amazon route or whatever. There's all kinds of ways you can self-publish now. I mean, I don't know.
There's also community though. And that's what I think of these people are spinning up is they're trying to network and be supportive of each other
Yeah,
and like generate
yeah,
some. And I've got a plan, take my dad's articles and bring them together in a book and just write some
cool.
things to hang the stories together. Because some of the stories are really, really interesting. I didn't think he was very good at selling himself. Being a research
Right.
historian, he was very much
Yeah,
like, this is the
yeah.
information I want to
I
convey to
could
you.
right. And here's the information. Yeah, I know what you
And it's
mean.
then it's kind of
There's no
dry.
lines. Great.
But
Yeah, I
some of
can
the
imagine. Kind of
stories
dry.
are absolutely, there's this one, did I tell you about this one? It was like the
Go
Beastie
for it.
Boys fighting for their right to party in the 18th century.
Uh-huh. Okay.
These guys got together and they decided they wanted to throw a ball for George Washington's birthday at the Raleigh Tavern in Williamsburg, which is like one of our most
Okay.
famous buildings. They have a
Okay.
big room called the Apollo Room where the parties would go on with all these, Washington, Jefferson, Patrick Henry, all these people.
Yeah.
Well, there was a rule in the Revolutionary War. We weren't supposed to do anything frivolous, basically lock it
Okay.
down, folks. We're not going to party.
No
And
spending
it's
money.
against the law, basically, to show any frivolity or excess, whatever
Fun.
celebration.
Yeah.
So, but this guy, James Innes, he decided he's going to throw a fucking party for George Washington's birthday and be damned if I'm not going to do it. They actually found a couple of cannon that were in repair at a wheelwright shop nearby and drew those up because they wanted to fire them off in, celebration of Washington. Meanwhile, this group of guys that he had been in conflict with while he was at the College of William and Mary
Uh-huh.
and was students, he came up and by this time he's a captain of the artillery and he says, "You're not going to throw a party. It's against the rules here." So he goes and gets 60 guys with bayonets fixed to go down and shut down the party. First, he checks with the governor, Patrick Henry, and Patrick Henry says, "Use your discretion. I'm not going to make any judgments here."
You use your discretion. So, okay.
So he marches his men down there, and Ennis has his men load his cannon with brickbats and says, you want to fight about this? Come on. And the ball goes on. And then he's hauled up into court the next day for it and just says, he threatens to cane the guy who wanted to shut down the party and walked out a free man.
Caning.
Nobody tried to
Caning.
stop him.
The old-fashioned
That's
caning.
pretty intense,
We need to bring back the caning. Caning
Yeah,
as a
that
punishment.
is
I
the
like that.
very first instance of a celebration of George Washington's birthday in the United States of America.
Huh.
So there, I think that's a great story.
So what did George Washington think about it himself? Was he a fan
Well,
of the
George
party?
was
Or was
up
he?
there at the time. I mean, we're talking about like 1776 or 7, I forget which. And
Yeah.
he was up, in the north, with his army,
Right.
probably, at the
Oh, so he
time
wasn't
of
even there.
February.
So he wasn't even at the place.
He may have
He's
been in
not even the
Hampton
location.
Valley Forge freezing his butt off.
I see. So he was not even there. So he couldn't weigh in on whether or not he wanted a party. Even it was a
No,
party in his
but
absence.
the thing is, there's an old saying from Williamsburg's glory days that Virginians will dance or die.
I see.
So we're really known for partying. And Williamsburg still has what's weird is Williamsburg still sort of has this culture when I'm growing up there in the 70s and 80s of people moving to the area and saying, yeah, we used to party in our neighborhoods, but you guys take this really much further. I guess it's kind of boring there, but we used to throw these huge keg parties for the staff of the foundation called HAPO Happenings. It was for historic area programs and operations. And
so you're throwing
they were
keggers
lots
for
of
historians.
blowouts.
That sounds like a fascinating place to go. That sounds like that would be a fun.
We'd also have this celebration of Guy Fawkes Day. Are you familiar with Guy Fawkes?
I've heard of Guy Fawkes Day. I didn't know. I used to get the day off of work, I think, when I lived in Massachusetts for that. I was like, what is this all about? Why do I get the day off of work for this? that, and it was like, and I got off for Bunker Hill Day, and like 2 other days, I had no idea what they were about, but I was like, well, this is great. I get off work for this. I had no idea what it was though.
We didn't get the day off, but we would throw these bonfire parties and burn guy in effigy because
Yeah,
it's the
he's the
gunpowder
dude that's
plot.
the guy with the mask or whatever. He's the guy that
Yeah,
whatever
the deal is in the 16th century, no, 17th century, he tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament with gunpowder, and he got all the gunpowder underneath of it before the plot was given away. So they never blew up the Houses of Parliament, but he got damn close.
And why did he want to do? Why did he want to do it? Just for fun, or because he had some sort of agenda, like a political
I'm
agenda?
sure he was like a modern day terrorist, or a
I think so.
17th century version of terrorism.
So it wasn't just like a jokester. He was just trying to play a funny. This
He's
haha,
trying
it's
to
pretty funny.
overthrow the
We should
government,
blow this thing up.
basically. It's
I see. So it
like
wasn't. So it wasn't important
going
to
into
figure
the
this out.
Capitol building. It's like January 6th all
I
over
see.
again.
So he was really, and he's not concerned about human life or human death or that sort of thing. I see.
No, he was ready to
Real
kill
good
them
guy.
all. The House of Lords and the House of Commons both. Blow them all up.
Wow.
And he didn't do it. And
Yeah.
he was burned. I think he's probably drawn and quartered, more likely.
Huh.
That's what they generally do
So
with leaders.
he's now like a hero. I mean, he's viewed as sort of a countercultural hero at sorts, I think.
We're Anonymous, right? You remember Anonymous,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah, I do. And other in movies and things, I mean, you see him portrayed as sort of a hero type figure, but it sounds like he was not all that heroic.
No, but it was great because we would actually take some old costumes from the Costume Design Center that were kind of worn out from the Colonial Williams, because we had like 1,000 people in costume there, right? And they go through the clothes, right? So we'd take some old stuff and stuff them and then burn them in effigy in a big bonfire. And the bigger the bonfire, the better. So,
That's Guy Fawkes Day. That's how you celebrate,
yeah,
by burning
burn guy in
effigies of Guy
effigy.
Fawkes.
Yeah, it's great to burn things in effigy, I think.
I know, right. How else do
Yeah,
you
we
do?
should
How
do
else
more of
isn't that
this.
is that the only way? Can you do effigies in any other way other than by burning? Isn't that
And
how you
you've
do an
got to
effigy?
be really, really, really fucking drunk. Pardon my Pardon my
But that's an interesting question. Is there another way to do an effigy besides burning something? I don't think there is there?
You can
I don't
hang
really
it.
know. If
You hang
oh, it
people in
can't
effigy.
in
Yeah.
effigy? In effigy. I
Yeah.
don't even know what effigy means. So,
It
so
means like a
that could,
dummy. You take a dummy of somebody. It's
so
kind of like
anything.
having a
Okay,
baby doll, right?
okay, that's what that means. Okay, I didn't, oh, interesting.
Now
I'm
we're
thinking,
into
okay,
this. I don't know how I got here.
yeah, that's what effigy means. I always thought,
We
okay,
life in
oh man, I was
Williamsburg
way
and
off.
our right to party and the way we party was kind of intense. Yeah.
Burning by burning things. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I don't know, we had a lot of fun. We also did a thing at Halloween we called jack-o'-lantern tours, because I would do lantern tours ordinarily where you take a group out at night and go into all the
Uh,
little historic places and talk about them to the visitors. So
yeah,
it's kind of something extra to do, because not a lot to do in Williamsburg otherwise. Anyway, they now have ghost tours. We didn't do that. With
yeah.
some
I've seen them.
outside
I think
groups
I
did
did one of
ghost
those.
tours.
I did a ghost tour. I like those ghost tour things. They're kind of fun sometimes. I think I did
Anyway,
one in
we did,
Williamsburg.
but before that, before we did ghost tours ourselves, we did this jack-o'-lantern tour at Halloween, in which we had an ox cart. We draw the ox cart down the street yelling, "Bring out your dead." Yeah.
They all enjoy like that joke. It's a good one.
And that was just the employees. It wasn't for the visitors, but if the visitors saw it happening, they could join in if they wanted to. I participated in it. I played spooky flute music, for the ghosts
on the
wandering through the
on the
fields.
on the on the flute or on the what do you call it on the
I actually had a
fife?
Shakespearean kind of Renaissance flute. It was much deeper in tone than the fife.
Okay,
I got
it's
at the
different than a fife.
Folger Shakespeare Library when my mother was looking to maybe get a job at the Library of Congress. She was interviewing up there.
Man.
That
Now,
didn't pan
fifes are
out.
made out of wood. Wood, correct? A fife has to be made out
Yeah,
of wood or metal. Can it be made?
you can have a metal one. Yeah, you could have a metal one.
Yeah.
I've had one that was made of brass. I don't know what happened to it. I really kind of bummed it. I don't know what happened to it.
I don't know if you saw that guy walk by that was looking ask for money. He had a little bucket in his hand. I like that guy. So there's a group here called Cruz Roja, which is the equivalent of the Red Cross in the
Okay,
U.S.
gotcha.
Sort of like the equivalent, but
Gotcha.
they're a civic organization, if you will. But they also they function. They do a lot of different things, but they provide health service. They help people that are stranded on the highway. They have a Green Cross kind of thing, like a green version of it too. And they're kind of like civic organizations that are just like to help people, like do different things, like basic stuff, like I don't know. And they're really good people, and they're all over the place in Mexico. And I wish that the U.S. had something more of an equivalent to it. because it's just really nice because it's like if you break down the side of the road, you can pretty much count on one of these groups coming along, ready to help you and just in different weird ways. So I don't know, it's just interesting. And I try to give that guy money every time I come through here, but I was distracted. But I'm only gonna have to let you go here because I'm almost at the crossing here.
All
There's
right.
a
Well,
crossing
that's
right in front of
fine.
me, San Ysidro. So I gotta drop off and
Been
keep
fun. We
talking,
had
man.
one person respond to us. She says, I'm not driving. Al isn't driving. So our other contributor is in an autonomous, no, in an automobile. I don't know what
All right.
Angel Woods is actually. I, I get messages in there from this person that I don't quite understand all the time, but she just joined, or he just joined. Paul K joined
Oh,
from Ohio. Roger Scott,
man.
gratis
All the people
escrito.
are joining, and we're just gonna have to drop right now. Here's the border. I'm at the border. If I get caught on the phone
Well, you
here
can
in
drop.
the
I
next
talk
10,
to these
100
people
yards,
and see if anybody has anything on
yeah,
their mind.
yeah, yeah, I'll have to drop. I'll see
Good
you guys.
talking,
Thanks.
and keep it up.
You too,
The
man.
good work as chief science officer.
Oh,
Do you want
thanks,
to
man.
tell the name of
You
your
too.
company before you go?
Keep being. It's Duophage DX, and keep being the nicest man on Substack, Hal. Later.
I'll work on it. I didn't quite catch the Phage company he's working for, but we're close enough. He's left the stream, and we'll be wrapping up pretty soon unless anybody has some questions for me. Oh my God, I'm too much of a control freak with driving. Yes, I'm she working and typing. Sorry, that's cool. Thank you. I don't know where you are, and I don't know where most people are. I think Paul K is in Ohio, if I remember right. But I have asked people to say, tell us who you are, where you are, and how you are. A lot of people use pseudonyms here, Wonder Seeker, Xenozylon. I doubt if that's your real name. Sagradas Escrituras. That's sacred writings, right? Isn't that the translation? I'm not sure. Roger Scott. That's probably your real name. Angel Woods, I don't know if that is your real name or not. And Ed E.R. Kumar up there, Alexei Zaitsev, I know you. And good. You want to talk Carl Jung, his philosophy? Do you like his writings? Well, I think a lot of Jung. I love Memories, Dreams, and Reflections, which he did towards the late life. He also did Answer to Job, which I very much enjoy. If you haven't read Answer to Job, I highly recommend it. It's pretty accessible. I picked it up because I thought it might give me career advice. It's not about that kind of job. It's Job, as in the biblical figure. And yeah, so I am a pretty well read on Carl Jung. Listen a lot to Jungian stuff. Have had years of Jungian therapy. I'm not sure it did me any good at all. But my feeling is that he was onto something. He understood a lot about our psyche and our unconscious and our collective unconscious at that. There's a really good book by Stephen A. Heller, and Stefan, I guess is actually more how you say it. Stefan's still alive as far as I know. He's in his 90s. Stefan A. Heller. Persona Anima. I'm very fond of the anima side of it. I consider my anima to be Eris, the goddess of chaos. I used to think of it as Kali from the Hindu pantheon, but these days I'm more like Eris, the goddess of chaos who gave us the Trojan Wars. There's backstory there I won't go into. Stephen A. Heller, though, wrote The Gnostic Jung. The Gnostic, I'm writing it down in here. Jung and 7 Sermons to the Dead. And the book actually jumped out at me from Lost City Books one day. It was in the window, and I decided I had to have it. And I bought it, and I read it, and I loved it. And I love Stephen A. Heller, for that matter. He is out in L.A., has been there for many years, heading up a Gnostic church. And he does a lot of stuff online on YouTube. So Stephen A. Heller, Hoellerer, originally Hungarian. His introduction to the Gnostic Jung is well worth the time. What else do I want to say about that? Joseph Campbell edited the Bollinger editions of the translations of Jung into English. And so you get this cross current of intellectual work by Campbell, Jung, Alan Watts. Those all tend to inform my thinking. And collective, yes. However, do you feel today young people understand what he really meant? I don't know. It's not for want of having the information at your fingertips. And whether or not people bother educating themselves or not is questionable. I think many people don't know, don't care, and live lives that are, like, well, like snare drummers. And I'm saying this because my old music master who was a drummer, used to say, drummers, they're mahogany from the neck up. And there is something to be said for being a animal here on earth and not thinking too much about stuff. Because when it comes down to it, what I think doesn't matter. What I believe doesn't matter. What I feel doesn't matter so much. It's what I do. It's the actions, being a person of action, actually putting our good where it'll do the most. If we're willing to do that, we can transform this world for the better. If we're not, then we basically are sowing the seeds for whatever, right? Not a lot of structure. Anybody else talking? Any other question? I'm happy to, ask me anything. This is an ask me anything moment. It's lovely to have the everyday junglist on. We've gotten to be pretty good friends just by talking to each other. And I think it's very funny that his sense of humor is such with intelligent nonsense in the writings he's done that people don't understand him. Sometimes they don't take it as humorous. They get upset by some of the things he puts forward, which sometimes are very, contentious. He takes a tongue-in-cheek angle on things that other people take very seriously. And because we take ourselves too seriously, you end up with this kind of banning happening, deplatforming of people. I could get deplatformed on Substack potentially if people start reporting me for putting forward all kinds of weird ideas, which I might do, and I might be wrong sometimes. But there's no need to be rude about it. Anything else? Anybody? Wide open. Hearing none. Going once, going twice. 47 minutes. We're going to end this one too and go get some lunch. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. And do subscribe if you don't subscribe to me already, if you can still hear me, because I'm getting nothing. And, when I ask, where are you? How are you? Answer the damn question. I don't understand that. It's like I ask point blank and nobody says nothing. Some people I have found out where they are and how they are, but, participate. Yeah. Yeah. Shadow is part of the whole, right? The self has a shadow, and I can't see my shadow, but yet my shadow manifests in the way I respond and react to things, and a lot of times drives my behavior without me basically being conscious of it. And this happens to everybody, but how many people are actually conscious? Not many, I think. Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be. I believe all kinds of things. I like to apply maybe logic. Robert Anton Wilson. So if you don't know yet, Robert Anton Wilson, go to YouTube, look him up, listen to him. Wilson. You will have your mind expanded. I guarantee. And that's it. Talk to you later.